listened a lot of talks on Islam and attend many conferences on Islam. However, I've never listened to such a kind of topic that you addressed by our speaker today. So therefore, I urge you to pay attention to the talk by our sister Sophia. Let us welcome our guest of today, Sister Sophia, and Principal. As a gesture of appreciation, I would like to ask our principal to give a small token of souvenir to our speaker today, Sister Sophia.
Dear teachers and students, good morning. Assalamu alaikum. I'm very glad that you're so cooperative, so quiet, and I'm sure you will be keeping on like this because the lecture or the talk or the sharing today will be a different kind from what you have heard. Sister Sophia from young was found that she can see something which we cannot see. In the Quran, it is called the ghaib, means that those that our eyes cannot see and our physical body cannot touch. But Allah has given different people with different talent, different ability. And it is His hikmah, His wisdom, that He has granted some special ability to some person. But she was found with this ability, and she would share with you her difficult livelihood during her youth time when she was given such an ability, and her road to Islam. So may we call upon Sister Sophia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Hi brothers and sisters, I'm Sophia from Taiwan. I'm very happy here to share with you my story. Well, when I was young, even younger than you, as my parents told me, maybe just 2 or 3, and my parents noticed that I think my house is always crowded. So I will always complain with my parents that there's a young brother here, there's my cousin here, or even my grandmother was back. And it kind of disturbed my parents because my grandmother or those relatives that I mentioned to, they probably just passed away last week or yesterday. So in Taiwan, most of people, we believe in Taoism or Buddhism. So my parents looking for a lot of religions to help me. For example, I have to go to a temple every day to ask those monks, whatever, to give me some ceremony, some ritual to make me calm down. And when I was little, maybe just 5, 6, I refused to go out or refused to eat outside I insist that my mother cook my meal, and I eat them right away. If my parents put the food on the table, and maybe a couple hours, my mother want to reheat it for me, and I will refuse to eat. And my parents do not understand. They just think this child is a troublemaker. But actually, I don't remember a lot of this stuff. Just my parents and my relatives told me. And as you know, the Taiwan, our tradition believes that there are a lot of ghosts in our world, and also those ghosts will affect our lives. So, since some neighborhood knows that I can see something they cannot see, so it inspires them. They think maybe they can ask me some question to be an interpreter between human and those words. So usually when I don't remember, but my parents told me when I was 5, 6, they're going to bring me to a house, and those chicken adults, they just outside, and they ask me to go inside along with the ice cream. And if I tell them, well, in the house there's a lady is sitting behind a window, and they say all the adults will run away and only let me inside, because actually that's an empty house. So they use me to do things like that, to see the house is clean without ghosts. Or they will ask me the lottery number, or they will ask me as a fortune teller to interpreter between human and those idols they worship. And actually, I don't know, I don't understand what is correct or what is not. I just follow those adults to tell me to do. So I think it's to obey your parents, to obey adults is good thing. There's no harm anyway, and I can receive a lot of candies, reward, and a lot of money. So why not? But when I'm getting older and older, something goes wrong, because a lot of people think that those jinn, those ghosts, they can play some magic, or they can give us some predict our future. So their desire is bigger and bigger. Some people will brand their marriage or their failure in marriage or business is because jinn or ghost. So they will ask me to help them to talk to the ghosts or jinns, to tell them to get away, or to ask those ghosts or jinns to help them to get rich. But for me, I know this is not truth, because those ghosts or the jinn, I think they are limited in their abilities. So actually, they cannot even help themselves. How come they can help our human beings? But I have no choice, because those people told me, you are helping people, even I am lying. For example, some people, they were failure in marriage or failure in business, and they will come to my temple and ask me if he or she got possessed by the ghost. For me, I don't think so. I think that is personal problem. You make a mistake, that's it. You have to face the mistake and the result that you make. But people don't want to hear the truth. People just want to brand their faults, brand their problem to unseen word. So I have to pray like an actress. I will give them a paper to burn a paper, or give them some water, and I pretend to speak to the ghost or jinns, and they say, okay, your problem is solved, the jinn will already go away. Or they will tell me to practice magic, to hire those ghosts or jinns to do whatever they want to do. For example, to harm people, to force the people to do or follow their wills. And that is really disturbing. Actually, I was very, very unhappy because I know that is not truth, and I'm afraid that those jinns, ghosts, or human beings, whatever, they're going to repay. I have to pay back for those things I have done, especially after my afterlife. So when I was about 25, and I decided to quit. I don't want to be a media anymore. However, those people, they don't just give up because I'm the one who can make them make money, and the big money. So they curse me that if I don't want to be a media anymore, and I will have a very, very bad future. I will unemployed, I cannot get married, even I will get sick. I will get a cancer, I will have car accidents, and even I will hurt my family. My family going to get hurt because of my decision to quit. But I think like for the last 25 years, my life is just about a lie. I don't want to do that anymore. And they don't have, I don't know how come they don't afraid of their afterlife, but I do. So I think that no matter what, I have to find my own religion, and I want to find my own peace. So in Taiwan, I look for a lot of kind of religions, including the South Asia Buddhism, Tibet Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism, Christian, Catholic, whatever, any kind of religion. I try to find one that can make me feel peace. But it is difficult because those religions just cannot convince me. For example, in traditional Taoism or Buddhism, they think that ghosts or the jinns, they are very, very powerful in the midnight, especially between the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the midnight. That's the time we play the magic, and the time we host the ceremony, those rituals. But in my experience, I don't think that, because I think those jinns, they are much more powerful and active, usually during the dawn and the sunset. So, since those religions, what they told me about the jinns' word is not correct, how come I can believe in those religions? So, I know I need a religion, but I cannot make my decision so quickly and without deep thinking. And at the same time, I also took a master program degree in Chengchi University in religion studies. It's my purpose too, because I have the chance to study all kinds of religions. And the other day, that my Muslim friends told me, during Ramadan, we are all welcome to have a tour in Taipei Masjid. And I was thinking about, well, I read Islam in a book. I think this religion is reasonable, but I never ever been to the masjid before. Maybe I should give myself an opportunity. So I went there in Ramadan. I think it was 2005, and in October, I think it was 24. And when I went there, something catch my eye, because so many temples that I have ever been, for example, temples, churches, not only in Taiwan, the whole Taiwan, I also went to Japan, Singapore, Thailand. Do you know how come I went to so many places? Because I was a famous media before. So people invite me not only in Taipei, but also Taichung, Kaohsiung, and even in Japan and Thailand, wherever they pay me to help them. So many places I have ever been. so many churches, temples, but in my opinion, there are a lot of jinns inside. So, when the first time I went to the masjid, it would surprise me because I cannot see jinns inside. It's unreasonable, right? This is a religion place. How come there is no jinns inside? So, after the salat, I still looking for jinns in masjid, but I'm very old. So, it's like me to have questions in this religion, Islam. So I went to the imam. I say, can I ask you some question? He said, sure. So I asked the imam that, what do you think about those jinns? I mean the ghost. And the imam told me that, well, those jinns in Islam talk about the jinns, and the Islam also talk about some people can see jinns. And I think this is the first thing that can comfort me because for my childhood, a lot of people say I must have ever done a lot of good things. That's why I can become a medium in my life. But also, a lot of people told me in my last life I must have done a lot of bad things. That's why I see ghosts in this life. For me, I think it's a kind of curse because I'm very, very unhappy to be a medium. Although I make a lot of money, but I'm still unhappy because I think that was bloody money. Because people come to me because they need my help. Usually they already have seen a lot of medium, they ran out a lot of money, they pay a lot of money on it. But I just selling the hope to them. I receive the money. Maybe they need the money to see a doctor. But I receive money, just give them the hope. So I'm very unhappy, even I make money as a medium. And I think it was a curse since the Buddhism says so. So when Imam told me that, well, there's nothing special. Islam told us a lot, 1400 years ago, something just happened like that. There's nothing special. For me, I prefer this answer because for me, I think I have nothing special to other children. I just a normal people. I don't think I do some good thing or bad thing. It just happens. And the second, Imam told me that, Islam also told me that, teach us that the jinns will be active and a lot of them they're going to appear during the dawn and sunset. It also surprised me because that is exactly what's happened to my experience. Yes, that's the time, that's the first religion give me the correct answer. So I want to learn more. For example, when I was a medium, we were chanting to commute with jinns. So I have to worship jinns and also I have to eat food after jinn eat them. So it makes us closer. So when I was a child, I always eat those food that my jinn eaten. And also the jinn told me that I can eat my food with my left hand. I don't understand why, but I listen to the jinns because they told me that it can make me be a better medium to communicate with them. But when I read Islam, Islam told me that we don't eat the food that worshipped by the jinn, worshipped by any other gods, or do not eat the food with our left hand. Suddenly I understand. Well, I think there's a religions or told me that's something correct. So I remember I tell my parents that when I grow up, I want to create a religion to tell people the truth. Because so far I know the religion, for example, they teach me about the jin's word. I think those things are incorrect. So when I grow up, I want to create a religion that's to teach us what is truth. But when I meet Islam, I know this useless. I don't have to create a religion because there is already a religion that tell me what is correct, what is not, and a religion already teach me much more than what I already know. So when after I talking to my imam, I took some books back home. I will think again, and I talked to my family for 3 days. And I decide to convert to Islam. I want to become a Muslim. And it's not quite easy in Taiwan because people don't really understand what is Islam. So a lot of my family and a lot of my friends ask me, how come you want to be a Muslim? How come you have this faith? I told them, for me, for what I know about Islam, I only have a question, not why I want to be a Muslim. My question, I asked me for 3 days, how come I am not a Muslim? So it's kind of very easy, I became a Muslim. Because I tell my family, you know what? The Islam always tell us a lot of singing word. We know it is truth. And I see even much more than usual people, those unseen words. And the Islam already teach me what is the truth. So there's no reason that there's no reason I don't believe in Islam. And when I convert to the Islam, I also have the threat from the older people. They want me to be a medium. I will also afraid of jinns. Maybe they're going to harm me. But something come to me to make me feel peace, because after 2 days I converted to Islam. I went to my brother-in-law's house, and his house is full of idols, sculptures, because he worshiped a lot of a traditional god in Taiwan. And there was a jinn, we call it Tuligong, the land god. And before I was a Muslim, I went to his house. We always talk. I would ask him for a lottery number to predict the future, take some advantage of it. And the day I went to my brother-in-law's house, I don't know why, the jinn just away from me. So after a couple of teas, I asked the jinn, so how come you don't talk to me today? Usually you would jump to me, huh? How come you away from me today? And he's still away from me a lot, maybe 10 steps away. He's still afraid to come. I said, what happens? He said, you look different today. I asked him, what different? He said, I saw light in you. The light make me away from you. I cannot close to you. So on that day, I was surprised. I think, yes, since I have faith, I have Allah, I don't have to afraid. I don't have to afraid those jinn will harm me. And on the other hand, that just like I told you, a lot of people in Taiwan, they told me, since you don't want to be a medium, and you will have a scheduled life in your rest of your life, because since you were born to see jinns, so this is your destiny. You have to be a medium. That's your life. So when I was quick, they say I will get sick, I will failure in my rest of my life. For me, I think, sometimes I feel scared too, if people keep telling things about that. But on the other hand, I think that, okay, I have faith. Since I have faith, Allah will protect me from jinns. I think Allah will protect me from those humans too. So my favorite sports, just like a lot of Taiwanese, my favorite sport is baseball. So when I quit as a medium, I spent a lot of time to play baseball, and I also tried to be a baseball umpire in Taiwan. However, baseball is I don't realize before that baseball in Taiwan is not welcome to women. When I tried to become a baseball umpire, during the training, they told me that you don't have to come because we don't have female in the baseball field, so we don't need you. You just cannot come. So I just told them, I pay the tuition, I pay the money for the exam. You have to allow me to finish the training and also allow me to take the exam. Anyway, I took the exam and I got a license, I passed my inter. However, on the first day in the baseball field, it's a trouble because they told me that I can only sit on a chair because I'm a woman. So I'm not allowed to touch on the chair. I'm not allowed to touch those males' gear because I'm going to bring them bad luck. So that is the point I start. So, but I tell myself I don't want to give up. I think since the hadith didn't say that women is not allowed to play baseball or to do the sports, there's no reason for me to stop umpiring. So I pray a lot. I pray to Allah. That's people always tell me if I don't be a media anymore, I will have a barrier life. For so far, I do have a lot of challenge and difficulty in my life. But I pray to Allah, say, Allah, I hope my existence can have your help. So I think since to be an umpire is my dream, please help me. Please support me to become a good umpire. So after some challenge anyway. At the time I almost want to give up because they just don't allow me to play. And I was interpreter for Yankees, I show you some PowerPoint. This is the baseball field. This is what I was play the best umpire. And this is when I was an interpreter. And this I was a print umpire. And this is what I was on TV because I became the first female umpire in the national tournament in Taiwan. It's on the TV news anyway. And then I was an interpreter for it, but I almost gave up after this newspaper because they think I broke their tradition. And I pissed off a lot of male umpires. Anyway, on the day after this, a lot of umpires they hate me even more. So they don't allow me to umpire other games. So on the day I almost gave up, I still pray to Allah. And then I made the New York Yankees. And they like my being an interpreter for them. So they told me that I will give you a souvenir. I will give you a gift. It's a baseball gear, just designed for yourself. For example, in Taiwan, people tell me, I tell you why a girl cannot be an umpire. You see those baseball gear? Where is not designed for the women. So when the Yankee wanted to give me the gift, I think it was Allah to reply my prayer. So when I go to the factory, the All-Star factory, to design my own gear, the boss of the All-Star factory, he was surprised that how come there is a woman there to be a baseball umpire. So the owner, he told me that if you want to be a baseball umpire, I will sponsor you till you was 60 years old. So I think, well, alhamdulillah, this is a sign that since I have had the baseball year for my rest of life, there's no reason that I give up to be an umpire. So it's also happened in Hong Kong. After a month, I almost want to give up, but I received this gift. So I asked my coach that in the next month I'm going to play tournaments, women's tournaments in Hong Kong. And I told my coach, well, I received a sign from Allah, so I think I should be an umpire. So I don't want to be a player. Please let me be an umpire again. My coach said, okay, it's fine if you want to be an umpire. So I come to Hong Kong to be an umpire. Okay, you can see here, fitness club in Hong Kong. And then in Hong Kong, I made another chief umpire in Australia. He said, well, I work very hard, but I still make some mistake. If he is willing to teach me, so if I want to umpire in Australia, I tell him, of course, I want to learn. So now I not only have the free gear, I also have a teacher to teach me. So I went to Australia, have a happy time, and then I back to Taiwan. It was on paid newspaper because I wrote a blog in the internet, and the journalist read my story. It surprised them, so he read a half-page story about how come my life story from the median to become an umpire, and also how come I convert to Islam. And I was also, after my hard work and also the help from Allah, I become the first female international umpire in the world. I umpired in Venezuela, and then after that, a lot of country. This is so, and my sponsor was very happy about that, and I pray to Allah that the best umpire is from United States, the professional umpire school, and there's no one from Taiwan or from China, Hong Kong have ever done that before. But I needed a lot of money to go to the course. So again, I pray to Allah if Allah can make me to have this training. And then Allah replied me very fast. He sent me an angel, the all-star owner, asked me if I need any else help to advance my umpiring. I told him, yes, I need help. I need some financial support to training in the United States. And also, he gave me the money, financial support to went to the United States. There are 120 umpires from all over the world, Europe here, Australia, America, Venezuela, whatever. There's only one girl and one Asia. It's me in America. And also, so I became not only the first international umpire, female umpire in Taiwan, and also the first one to have the professional license. So now in Taiwan, people cannot throw me out from the baseball field. In the other hand, my job now, I will bring the latest lures, the latest training materials, and I tell those umpires, those old umpires, that if you do not want to read the material that's wrote or translated by women, you don't have to read it. But I'm afraid you have to accept that. And so I think those people who told me that I would have a treachery life if I don't want to be a median, I think they were wrong. As long as I believe in Allah, as long as I'm in the correct path, so far, I have a very, very happy life so far, alhamdulillah. Purely because we don't have enough time, so I will keep some time for you if you have any sharing or have any